Yeah.
To be fair, this sort of leads on to the reason why I wanted to speak to you both. So I'm trying to do like the New Minds like 2020, and it's pretty difficult because last year the main reason of like getting out there and meeting people and stuff was actually going to the degree shows, and I can't do it this year. I mean, I did a bit of scouting online, sort of, and I did actually find quite a lot of stuff. Like some universities have like done it really well and have like spent the time making a website and stuff. Some haven't. So I basically have just sort of reached out to as many people, and it's always really hard, which is a surprise to me, to find people's emails. I would have thought that people would always put their email with their work just in case opportunities, but done that. So
now a lot of the time they just seem to put their Instagram, like, but even that is very like, sometimes like they're on like a private Instagram and you can't even get to them, kind of thing.
It's a bit.
You need to have yourself as like a business as well, like especially
almost, basically,
like creative standpoint. You need to be.
I think artists have a hard time marketing themselves also. I don't think it was really instilled at university, like how to market yourself properly.
No, it wasn't at all.
No.
That's like surprising. It's like you could do with the practical skill of it, because it's awful. Like I hate self-promotion as well. It's like the worst thing, because like you wanna be there and doing your own thing and stay in your own lane, and like I think a lot of people want to be like quite modest or like chill about it, but at the same time, you have to be like, look at me. And a lot of artists are like quite introverted sometimes, especially. And with coronavirus, then you haven't even got that space, away from students. You haven't even got that space to maybe get you work in galleries or so on. You have to now be online. So yeah, it's been weird. I'm starting to get some responses trickle in. I think I've got about 6 or 7. I mean, I sort of wanted to talk to you guys about, what do you think that students need this year? Because I don't really want to do necessarily a competition to get people to apply, because it's been really difficult for some people. I mean, some people's projects would have been completely messed up.
Yeah.
And like, what do you think? The fact you're talking now and being like, you met up in Paris and so on, that's like the sort of, in my eyes, the greatest achievement of last year.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think what you should do, although because of the coronavirus is going to be hard, but I think you should put a lot of focus on connecting with each other. Like, although like we made the effort ourselves after the competition to like meet up with ourselves, I think putting people in a space, even if it's a Zoom call, where they have to interact with each other one-on-one, and they just like, so I did this thing the other day with I was on a Magnum course basically, and so now I've been paired up with like a mentor, and for like the next 4 months, who's like a photographer, creative director, whatever. And basically what we did is we were in a massive Zoom call with like all the mentors and all the mentees, and what they did is they put us in like separate rooms. There was like 45 people in the Zoom call, and then that got split into like individual rooms of like 4 or 5 or 6 people. And it gave us the opportunity to kind of like speak and talk about who we are as artists, what we're doing, what our projects are about, what we envision ourselves doing. And then they keep changing. So after like first 20 minutes, you change and go to another group, and then go to another group. And it's quite cool because on Zoom you can actually do it where it automatically splits the groups up into people. But obviously, if like you don't have 45 people to do it with, you can still do one-on-ones with people, like kind of like what we did when we were like in a row and we would chat one-on-one with each other. You could kind of do that through Zoom, which is a pretty cool way of doing it, I think.
Yeah. Anthea, you got any thoughts?
I think that was the best part, I think, of the New Minds experience, was getting to meet everybody who was also doing such different things. It was weird because we all connected really easily and really quickly.
Yeah, I think we were fortunate in some ways that you guys were all quite sociable, like people. Like I was quite shocked that everyone hit it off so quickly. Because I think we could have easily invited someone along that we don't really know, that was really quiet, or maybe someone that had like drastically opposed views to everyone, which would have been good because a bit of debate, but like could have like almost destroyed the whole thing by being really difficult. So luckily you were all nice people, so that always helped.
Yeah.
But yeah, I did it. I've done one sort of call with, it was with a girl from the same course as Mael, but year below, and a guy from RCA, and they, by the end of the call, they were saying like, oh yeah, I'll come to your show and this and that. So like, I think, yeah, maybe that same thing again. 45 people would be cool. I think my brain would probably explode.
Yeah. Of course, not 45 people. Like if you condensed it down to 10 and then had them do one-on-ones and things like that would be like, I think it'd be cool. And you could almost like use technology in a way where, like screen share, for instance, you can get people to talk through their projects through screen share element, where like instead of like obviously seeing my face and me talking about it is obviously one aspect of it, but then when you see their work, and then you could almost record that through, I don't know, like the way you're recording this call, you can record that, and then I guess you could put it up on your website. I don't know. What did you have in mind?
I sort of had that like that kind of thing. Like I was saying, the best thing about last year was the fact that some of you carried on talking, and me and Mael carried on. Like I went and met his whole course at Material Futures, and now I know a couple people on that course as well. So that was like my biggest hope. But I also kind of just wanted to like, I don't know, like help people. I think students, the reason they're a good market to target is you're very enthusiastic when you just graduate. You know what I mean? You want to be a part of things and stuff, which is really nice. And like, I wanted to make sure that everyone had the opportunity to get their work online in some respect, or because when you have your degree show, people walk around and look at your stuff and you have that aspect, and it's quite nice to have the conversation. Whereas I think a lot of people aren't having that. So I thought, how can I get people's work online and help them in that respect? Because I don't think it's been done enough. I think some unis have taken it on, but then again, like, what do I do then? Do I just have a massive influx of staff? And
yeah, that's true.
It's
difficult.
No, Karen.
I just think that this year is a particularly just a shit show of a situation where, like, it's so unfortunate for everyone involved and everyone that's worked really hard during their entire degree, and it's it's hard to rationalize or just to come up with something that will be just as beneficial as it would have been had coronavirus not happened.
And I think it's also very hard getting people like intrigued about their work or like excited about their work now, because they've had like 3 months of sitting at home and kind of like, I mean, probably some people will be very excited to go out there and talk about their work, but there's probably going to be a lot of people there who have like kind of like in a rut almost and like finding it hard to like express themselves. Because I remember at the start of quarantine where I was at home for like 8 weeks, whatever, just like in my room. I had no clue what to do with myself. And it's only now, like as lockdown started easing and I've been going like on more runs and just going to the park and like coming back home, I've started to become way more creative now. So, and I have like I don't know, there's a sense in me that wants to talk about work a lot more, photography, like a lot more like interesting things a lot more. So I think there's going to be a proportion of people who will probably want to talk about their work, and are excited to talk about their work. So maybe try target those people, but even that, it's going to be hard to find. I don't know.
Yeah, it has been hard to find people. Like I said, I probably sent out about 50, 60 emails, and I've got about 7 or 8 responses, which is normal. Like, I'm used to the rejection game. I've been doing this for a while.
Yeah.
But yeah, it has been hard. I'm kind of hoping that I like tease out a few people, and then it has that trickle on effect. I mean, my whole sort of mentality with it at the minute is like more the merrier. Like, get everyone involved, bring your mate. Like, we'll see what's possible, and maybe it is just about the talking. I mean, some people's like projects would have been massively affected with can't use resources at the university, and also like whenever you're doing something creative, those little conversations where you might be like walking past each other's studios, Or like actually so many times where you'll just have a pointless conversation, but it'll trigger something in your mind, and you'll think, and you'll rush off back to your work and change something, and no one's I think that's such a shame.
Yeah, it's weird because now that they're said, well, the British government have said that like, oh, swimming pools are going to open or something stupid in the next like week, which is really dumb. But if swimming pools are opening up, can't you have like a more of an interactive conversation with the people like that you choose? I mean, I feel like if people can meet up in groups of 5 or 6 and go to the park, you could probably start having conversations like about in person with people now. But that's just an idea. But it's still very risky. But
yeah. I mean, it's just getting a space to get everyone together. I mean, last year we were so lucky that people don't know, like, probably 2 days before we met you all, we had nothing. Like we had no plan. We had like, I was like calling like so many people, like, can I secure a space? Or like, well, not 2 days, it's a bit of exaggeration, but honestly, it was very last minute. And before you guys all turned up, I was like, fuck. I was like, oh my God, I've convinced these 5 people to come to East London. I hope that they don't hate it.
Dropout needs their own space.
Yeah, mate, it's hard. Like it's it's been difficult to organize this because we're kind of like, I don't know, it's got to the point we've been, prodding away at it for so long now. I'll be honest with, I'm feeling pretty drained with it. You know what I mean? And also, you guys know how it is working full time, doing other things as well. Kinds of projects. I mean, I don't know if you guys seen, but I've started doing some weird comedy related stuff on Instagram.
I haven't seen that. No.
Yeah, just go on my Instagram and you'll see my break. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just feeling it feels weird. I'm like, now a few minds again, and I'm trying to talk to loads of people about their creative process. Whereas I'm pretty on the edge at the moment.
I can, if you need, so me and 2 other friends, we've started a podcast, like a weekly podcast, which is like one thing we're doing, and it's almost like a collective. It's like a blog, almost like a online magazine platform type thing, and we're trying to like champion young creativity, young people who are creative and like kind of promote their work. And so I'm like in the midst of like building the website at the moment, and like getting content together. But I feel like there's a lot of people that we can approach who are graduates, like recent graduates, because I still have a lot of friends who are like finishing uni this year. So if you wanted to, I could always, like, if you send me like, what is it, like social media, like a picture like to do with the Dropout Minds, like this year's one, I could always repost it and get people to like send in their projects or their ideas to you, like we did last year.
I could definitely work. I mean, it's the reason, like, and this will be great if you do follow through and manage to get students involved, is there's so many great ideas, right? And people will do it for their final year project, and then that will be it. They would have made pound in doing something like for you,
like me.
Yeah, it was such a cool project, but then you enter the world of whatever real life, and you carried on doing photography and stuff. But I think there's a worrying amount of people that just stop. You know what I mean? They'll get a very basic, say, design job or something where they have it's quite restrictive, or they'll just pack it in completely because it's a difficult industry to work in. And that idea that you're really pushing on with is just like shelved, and that's it. And like my main aspiration for students is to get them going a little bit further so that they might continue those projects. And if you focus on students or people graduating, that's definitely a positive outcome of that. But with Dropout being like an online magazine or whatever, like I kind of want to like get away from that, because we've worked with like tons of projects all over the world, and like it's great to support people, but like we've not got much back from people. People very happy to grab what they can and then see ya. You know, like you'll read someone's work and then do an article with them, a podcast, and then you'll never hear from them again. Like you'll try and learn from them. So I kind of want to move forward and just do stuff like when I worked with you guys, like real sort of. I know it was
real life stuff.
Yeah, I know it wasn't like, I say local. I know it's not literally local, but you know what I mean. Like actually together and can have a positive person to person, because I haven't changed the world. Like, 2-3 years ago. And I think, Anthea, I was thinking about your work that you've done in West Africa. It must feel like much more rewarding to do it with actual people that you know, and you can build those relationships. And then, like you did with the sun cream, and then raising money for that, that's really cool, and that must be a good feeling.
Yeah, it's been and I guess thanks to Dropout and thanks to everyone that was involved in the project afterwards, it's helped a lot. It's helped tremendously with people just raising awareness for what albinism in Senegal at least is. And it's gone to the point where I might, branch out of Senegal and work in Guinea-Bissau and start looking at projects there on albinism as well and work with people there. So it's moving forward, which is exactly what I wanted it to do. I wanted it to be able to have a greater impact than just university show. That was the whole.
Jay, I know you're doing other projects as well. Will you ever visit the farming one, or is that?
Yeah, well, that's the
closed projects, obviously. But
no, like I've written up emails to like new and upcoming farms in the UK. A lot of them, and I wrote them up just before lockdown started, and I reached out to all of them, and then I got responses back from one or two, and then obviously lockdown hit, and now. And I feel like a lot of the farms were hit quite hard because they're independently run businesses at the end of the day. And yeah, they probably just got no business for a long time. And it was probably very hard on them. So I guess I'm going to have to reach out to them again and just figure out where they're at. But yeah, there's a couple who have popped up in London, Bristol. So yeah, no, I'm gonna try carry it on. But it's weird because like through lockdown, like my focus has kind of shifted. Like photography, is one aspect, but I'm like planning this like long-term project in Kenya that I'm like been doing a lot of research on. And when the time's right, I'm gonna go out there. But I'm starting this online platform magazine that champions like that looks at like art, culture, film, music, like everything. I'm just like at the moment in the midst of like writing interviews and like just reaching out to people who want to get involved, writers, like so it's been I've been doing the same as you, like early mornings, late nights, like but yeah, photography is something that's very up and down, but especially during quarantine anyways, I haven't been able to do much. I've been scanning a lot of film and like
do you think
editing.
It's going to be like this for a lot of people? Do you think a lot of people have now just reached the restriction of doing it? People are going to go off in all kinds of different directions and to try
I think it forces people to try new creative outputs, especially me. Like I started podcasting, like we did that one podcast with you guys and I was like I was very hungover that day, but like when we have like we haven't done a podcast where we all sit in the same room, so we've all been doing it from our individual rooms, recording it on our phones, and then my friend's been stitching them together, and it's been very weird because we're not like we see each other on Zoom and Skype, but like we're not actually in the same physical room, so it's like it's very weird. But I guess it's another creative output that you kind of learn as you do it more and more. And it's the same with making a website, like an online blog or platform. Like I've learned so much about emailing people, how to approach people, just getting better at things that I wasn't too good at, like without actually knowing it. Like it's weird.
Making websites is the devil.
Yeah, it's the devil. But I'm not doing it the way you guys did it, man. I feel like you did it like through coding and stuff. I'm just using Squarespace.
Yeah, ours is like a mix of like some templates and custom code. But yeah, websites are the devil. Don't get me started on websites. Anthea, have you done anything different in lockdown?
I actually also started a podcast.
There we go.
Nice.
Yeah, with my best friend Tigress. She's in London, and so we Instagram call each other and then use some podcasting site to record it, and then it records 2 separate audios. So we stitch that together as well.
Mm.
So we've done 2 technically. We started the second one this week. But yeah, it's actually really fun, and I didn't think I'd be the kind of person to do a podcast either, because I don't listen to podcasts. I don't have the attention span, but I like talking, and I like talking with Tigress, and we have a lot to talk about, and so we just figured. And also, it's sort of a similar thing to you, Jade. It's having conversations where we're also talking about our creative industries and creatives that we know, and hopefully we'll be able to bring them on board at some point as well.
Yeah.
Definitely. How have you guys found the sort of doing the podcast? Like, is it something that came quite naturally, or do you feel like yourself?
Oh, really?
Not for me, anyways. Like, I found it very hard to begin with, because the people I'm doing the podcast with, they're all different people. So one goes to uni, he does economy and politics, and like he's into like international relations and things like that. And then my other friend, he's like a radio host, DJ, like podcaster, like he does that. And I'm sitting here as a photographer. So for me, it was like, and both of them are very like vocal, out there people. I'm a bit of an introvert to a certain degree. So when it came to podcasting, I was a bit shy, but it's actually been really fun, man. Like, I don't know how to explain it, but we talk about everything from like current issues to like social issues to like football, politics, like music, movies, like, and like it's fun. It's nice to hear it back and watch the conversation flow. That's the best bit about it.
That's the thing. Like with podcasts, so many people I've done them with will go, "Sorry, I've just gone off on a tangent," and I'm like, but that's what conversation is. Like,
yeah,
shit if you go like, "Sorry," and you get your paper out and go like, "The economy." All right, back to the, that's not life. It's the nuances between different worlds are what makes conversation enjoyable. What about you, Anthea? How have you found it?
Making the podcast?
Yeah, like doing them.
It's just fun. It's nice to have a conversation. Like our thing was we wanted it to be like a fun conversation. So we've decided that we won't talk about politics, and we won't talk about like things like religion, just because I think for us in the moment, I think it's important just to have some time to chill out. Just to talk about something that's a bit more like uplifting, a bit more interesting, not necessarily just like hiding everything, but talking about art, like the creative industries. Like we're going to talk about art schools and like sort of the idea of the art school machine, which I think is a really interesting topic just in general. How, when I first started my course at uni, we were, I think, 50 students, but they've said from last year onwards, or from this year onwards, they were going to start introducing like 80 students to a course.
They take your money and pump out people. It's like a machine.
Exactly. So
it's Alex Lewis, a friend of ours who's at RCA. He was saying, because he went to uni quite a while ago, about 5-6 years ago, and he's doing a master's now, and he was commenting on like their response to coronavirus and how it was very apparent that money was like one of the biggest factors driving their decisions. Exactly. Whereas, the world of art's supposed to be quite a freeing experience. And in the same way that, if you go to Central St. Martin's, they have that beautiful new building at the back. It's amazing. But a girl named Emily Boxall that we were talking to, she said it doesn't feel very, I don't know, there's something missing from it. It feels quite artificial. And I think that is happening more and more with art schools. It's become less of a, because, say 10 years ago, if you went to art school, people would probably make fun of you, and wrongly so, but they'd be like, "Oh, what are you doing?" But I think now, with all things in the world, the people with the business minds have gone like, "Hang on, we can use this."
I think going to art schools for some people is quite opening, because when you think about it, in the next 10, 15, 20 years, when things become more automatic. People start doing things through robots. I think jobs are going to become less and less and less, and people in the arts are going to have more of a understanding about how the world is going to work, in a sense, like, and then they can like channel their own business minds through their artistic vision to a certain degree. I think jobs like photography and painting and, I don't know, making websites and like podcasting are all going to be like better sources of information than, like, let's say, like, I don't know, being a news presenter, or, even though that's an artistic form, like it's a job at the end of the day. But to be fair, like I find out a lot more about the world through podcasts and interviews than I do through the news, you know. So I just think if you channel your aspirations through an artistic endeavor, I think it's much better.
Well, with technology, sort of, you know, like you two have both no experience doing podcasts before, really, and you've both just decided to do one. I think technology allows people to sort of take ownership of their lives. You know, that's been the key in my life since I was probably about 20, and when I started Dropout and stuff. I got a piece of advice. I went for a job interview for a job that I would have hated, but the woman said to me, make your own opportunity. That was her advice. And that woman had such a profound effect on my life. She'll never have any idea, because everything I've done since is, you know, things like Dropout. And now, you know, it's interesting you say, Anthea, you don't talk about politics or religion in what you're doing, because I felt that in a big way with Dropout's great, and it has, you know, academic potential, it has, you know, artistic potential, it has a lot of areas where we can talk about things and shine light on the right issues and the right people. But I didn't have anything in my life where I could just enjoy. And it's like I had the two parts of my brain. I had one that wanted to be good and positive on the world, and I always had the evil side where I just want to enjoy it and be silly. And I think that's probably not done enough now. I think everything, there's so much of art and entertainment that's constantly tied to issues. I mean, I look at, for example, the world of comedy now, and it's Boris Johnson does this, he's done that, what's he done now, what's he done? Yeah, that's cool, he's an idiot, I knew that, like, but I want to see someone, you know, I don't know, the last video I released suggested I wank myself off with an action man, but you know, it's completely absurd. You know, I think I want to see more of that in the world again, because there's a lot of shit.
But I think.
Go on, Jay.
Oh, sorry. No, I was saying, you can intertwine the two. I think being absurd is dark humor, and just humor in general is something that a lot of people don't get enough of. Everyone's too focused on the issues around the world, which are definitely very, very important. But in the times of struggle, and in the times of when you're kind of feeling down about yourself, or you're in a bit of a rut, you don't know where to go, if people turn to comedy, it's not that bad of a thing. And I think you can definitely do the both without it affecting one another, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Having multiple creative outputs is almost better than just having one, and people seeing you as one, because if people see you as like a multifaceted guy who's into like social issues as well as like dark humor and comedy, like, I guess you can, like, it's just funny, you know, like I guess someone who does that is like Sacha Baron Cohen to a certain degree. Like, he's a comedian, he really, really cares about the world to a certain degree, but he intertwines it too. He makes it quite funny, actually.
I mean,
I don't know if you saw what he...
With Dropout, people could see the stuff I've done, and, you know, it's like, what issue are they talking about now? Or like, they might call us soft or snowflakes or whatever you want. Whereas the reality of me and Tom is actually very different. We have quite dark sense of humor, and you know, we have fun, and that doesn't really come through a Dropout. So that's something I did think about. But at the same time, you know, there's so many virtual selves now, isn't there? You've got so many accounts and stuff, which don't actually affect you day to day if you don't want them to. I mean, they can have a really negative impact on you, but if you just take comfort in the fact that, for example, say Anthea said something a bit, you know, dodgy, was trying to be funny on her podcast, and someone went for you, Anthea, when they have no idea about the work you've done they have no idea about that side of things.
Well, and that's just them being misinformed, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, it's true.
Exactly. So I think, I mean, the reason I was interested in how have you both been when you start doing podcasts? If you can listen back to the podcasts that I've done, I am so just wet. Honestly, I'm just myself, and all the dials have been turned down of my experience. I am just because that's the problem I had. I was quite nervous, and especially doing them with new people, you have to be a super confident person to just come in and own it. So no, I think it can only get better for both of you as you do them, because
I think it's just natural progression, really.
Yeah, and I think people are. You're not going to be the best, from when you start. And it's a shame that people get deterred. I think a lot of people start something like that, and within a couple months, it's not booming, and they're like, "Well, I'm shit. I will never.
Yeah.
I will go back to Netflix and just cut myself off from the world." And yeah, hopefully we'll be able to get that attitude in some of the students we talk to. And get that vibe.
I think that's the hard part, is getting like a social media following. Like we've started like an Instagram page called Full Floor, which is like the name of like the collective podcast blog. But it's hard getting people to like actually be interested in the work, the stuff you do. Like everyone on the surface level can see that you're doing stuff, but a lot of people don't, for their own self pride, want to click the follow button because it's gonna give them this added follower kind of thing. I feel like that's a big issue. I don't know, but like I don't know how to
admit it is, but I definitely think it is. I mean, you fucking do a podcast with someone, you sit down for an hour with them and talk about their life, and they won't follow you back. And I'm not one of like followers here and there. Like I don't care about the number, but that's just like a courteous thing. I'm like literally sat down and I listened to your waffle for an hour. And done with me now. Like that's been a big thing with Dropout. But me being my wet self on these podcasts, I'm like, thank you so much. And this is so nice.
Well, I think the thing about that is you have to. I feel like you have to. Even though like you're yourself, I think Dropout as a magazine, or like as a collective of people, have to reach out to these people again and again and again and again and keep their minds ticking. Because if you leave them once and that's it, like I don't think they're gonna, like, a lot of people just forget like that it even happened. Like, of course I haven't forgot about you guys because it was an amazing experience, but when it comes to like the odd person, I don't know, somewhere halfway across the world who's like done a podcast with you and like you've put them up on the website, they're the ones who are getting the self-promotion out of it at the end of the day on your platform. But if you want to keep that relationship going, I feel like you have to keep contacting them. That's why I've like, with this thing, that the people that we're contacting, I've made like a spreadsheet and like I put like the date I've contacted them and then their response date and then the date of when I have to contact them again. Like let's say 4 or 5 months down the line, like just be like, hi, how are you doing? Like, just want to catch up. Even if it's not a podcast, just keep their minds ticking. I feel like that's like an important thing to do. That's what I learned at uni anyways.
Yeah, I won't lie though, I'm after years of doing it, I'm kind of broken on that. And that's
okay.
kind of that's kind of why I wanted that's what I was saying earlier to you guys. Like I want to have relationships like I have with you two, where like I said, I actually had a positive impact on you guys and we had an enjoyable and a memorable time together. And that's what I want to do moving forward with these students and the next group. How cool would it be to have almost like in a sense of like alumni within Dropout, and you guys are the OGs, and like you meet someone and be like, oh, I did that 5 years ago and there's this new excited student that's a part of it. So yeah, I think networking, like you said right at the start, Jay, I think that's probably the best way moving forward.
Definitely.
Because I don't know what else I can offer right now.
And I think people will want to network. Like the fact that they've been sitting at home for this long, I think a lot of people would want to have conversations with people, whether it be like if you force them to be one-on-one on like in a Zoom call, they're not going to say no to a conversation, and people aren't going to send off their applications to you guys without I guess you guys giving them the guidelines beforehand, to be honest. Like if you tell them, look, this is how it's going to run, like although we can't be in person, we're going to do one-on-ones through Zoom. Like we're going to have we'll have a collective call, and then we'll split off, and then we'll come back and we'll share screens and make it like an interactive 2-hour session type thing, 3-hour session type thing. I think it'd be quite fun, to be honest. I think people would enjoy that.
Thea, you got any ideas on that?
I would be involved with that if you needed any help with it too. I think that's a brilliant idea.
A guest speaker.
Yeah, let's.
No, that would be good. Yeah, I'm currently just building up people at the minute because I also quite the creative industry. There's so much mix between different sort of crafts, say. So I'm quite interested in getting people that have like quite different. Like I won't do it like absurdly different, but people that have different practices or maybe similar themes, and like pairing people in groups or on one-on-one with someone that might provoke some sort of collaboration or thought with one another. I think that's the best way.
Well, have you also been in contact with is it Christina and Kate?
Christina hasn't got social media, so she's been quite difficult to get a hold of, and Kate's just not that responsive. Like it's fine if they don't want to do it. They were lovely people, so it is what it is. Mael has just disappeared for the time being.
Right.
Like we met up quite a lot. I think it was around Christmas time, and like I said, I met all his students. So if he pops up again, that's cool. But yeah, it'd be cool to get everyone involved again. I mean, it'd be amazing to all go for a drink or something.
Yeah. When it all opens up, well, pubs are open up. I'm not sure if I trust it yet.
I did go to a pub actually.
Yeah.
There was no one in there though. It was like empty. But it was on Monday, I think. During the day, that shows how unemployed I am.
Yeah, my work's been talking about employed. I worked at a sushi bar and it's gone into administration now. So I'm like jobless, which is terrible.
Yeah, everyone is in this weird. I did a photography job back in April, May, so a couple of months ago, and they still haven't paid me for it. So and it was like quite a lot of money.
Yeah.
It was like a campaign for this project, and so I'm just like waiting out and like being very, very careful with what I'm buying, what I'm spending like money on food for.
Someone said to me, "Oh well, how much does Dropout pay then?" And I just looked at them like, "Don't ask me, please."
Jay left.
Well, no, I'm back.
I can see.
Yeah, I lagged out really quickly.
Now I can see Anthea though, so I've just swapped Jay out.
Are you see Jay anymore?
No, but it's fine. I saw enough of him. Yeah, it's weird. Like I've been doing all kinds of weird work. Like I did a few days painting a shop in Notting Hill. It's just a place to be hanging out, but I'll just be by myself whitewashing the shop.
Yeah.
It's just weird jobs like that. I'm just like that weird cash in hand.
Yeah. Anything you can get.
Kind of guy. Yeah, anything, gardening, you name it. I'm the guy. And then
Craigslist?
Huh?
You use like Craigslist?
No, you see, over the year, I've been doing this for years now, so I actually have quite a nice network of people that needs money, and they're like, "Oh, Ollie likes cash."
Well,
and
what happened to the chocolate factory?
That's who I was doing the painting for, actually.
Oh, right. Okay.
Oh, sick.
They actually, I just got back. They just gave me loads of chocolate bars.
What?
Yeah, it's good to have contacts there still. But yeah, this was kind of my pay for today, actually.
Chocolate.
Worst things to get paid in, I guess.
No, definitely.
But yeah, it's all a muddle at the minute, to be honest. I mean, a project that you two might be interested in. So after the New Minds thing, I mean, I'm probably not going to run it for that long. I'm just going to do my best to like connect some people and I kind of want to move on for it and do something that's more possible. But I kind of wanted, someone gave me a really good idea. It was actually, I just mentioned about Alex Lewis from RCA. He did a day of art where he got with other artists and they all worked together for a day on a collaborative art piece, and then they just threw it in the bin afterwards. And the whole idea was like of working together and like and bringing different disciplines together. I think that's quite a nice thing to do post sort of coronavirus, because it's like us coming back together again and like enjoying it. Like everyone will be like, oh my god, like
yeah, thank God
again. I mean, I don't know about if it's good. I don't think we should throw it away. But
I wouldn't have thrown it away. But
if it's horrible, away, we'll definitely just throw it in the bin.
I mean, it'll probably be better than our towers. Like I can tell you that.
Yeah.
I'd hope so. If I get all these artists together and they just build some towers like that.
Like a huge tower.
I think he's done it a couple of times, so I'm going to kind of ask him to lead it, and hopefully we can all make something together. And I want to do it with just all people I've worked with through Dropout, so like yourselves and some of the other people not involved with New Minds. And build a, maybe I'll just change it from a magazine to a cult. Maybe.
Fantastic idea.
Very dark, Ollie. I love it.
You know where we could all live? You know, in that bit where Underpinned was, with all those
yeah. That would be amazing.
We'll just take over that, and it will be where our cult is.
Yeah. Also, I was gonna ask if I can, Anthea, if I could send you like a little interview for like our blog, if you wouldn't mind doing that.
Of course, I'd love to.
Okay, cool. I'll write one up, and Ollie, I might send you one as well, like talking to you about like how you started Dropout and why, and the reasons why you wanted to do it.
I need this. I need redemption. I did this in front of like a talk to all my old students. And I just got in front of them all, and just the words left. Like I was just, I don't know what to say. Because I've like through doing like comedy related things, like I've done stand up, and I thought that's scary. I was like, that's So I was like, I'm equipped for this. I'm equipped.
Yeah.
My mastermind topic probably would be Dropout, because it's been my life for the past. So I was like, I'm just gonna roll in there, talk to these students, be really cool, maybe buy them some drinks afterwards with my professional lifestyle. And I just got in front of them all, and some of them looked so unimpressed.
Oh no.
I was talking and were just like looking at me like, and I was like, fuck. Luckily there was a little group of them that I did go for drinks with afterwards, and I met a few people that I still talk to now, but like it wasn't great. So yeah, Jay, I need redemption. I need a positive.
You need some light shine on you, baby. We can get that done.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
Anyway, guys, I'll leave it there. Thank you so much.
It was lovely chatting to you guys.
I'll get in touch with you both over the next couple of weeks and get you involved in whatever I can.
If I can help out with anything, I've got lots of time on my hands. So.
Yeah, same.
Okay, cool. And make sure you look out for my next weird video on Instagram.
I love them. I really love them.
I've got this whole weekend free, so that's what I'm gonna do. Anyway, thanks guys, and I'll speak to you.
Yeah, I'll let you know in London.
Okay.
Yeah, well, let me know.
Yeah.
Bye.